Hi, welcome to Women's Broadcast Television Network Spotlight Expert Interview. We are so thankful today to have Mr. Aarn Farmer. We're going to talk a little bit about my sugar-free journey and some interesting facts that you'll have out there about coupons and how you can save in the grocery store. So welcome, Aarn.
Hey, welcome. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, we're so glad to have you. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So our story, mine and my wife's story, started right around 2008. At the time, I had a home repair business. And of course, in 2008, the economy tanked and nobody was getting any work done on their house. And so times were tough. And it was tough with, we had 4 kids and we were youth pastors. So we always had teenagers in our house. And so it was tough to keep food on the table. So one day, the middle son went over to his friend's house, and he came home and said, "Hey, you need to go talk to this other lady and find out what she's doing because for whatever reason, I know she doesn't make any more money than you guys, but she always has tons and tons of food at her house." And so that's what we did. We went and talked to her to find out what was going on, and she introduced us to couponing. And my wife took to that like a fish takes to water and just did everything that she could to learn how to coupon and put food on the table for as cheap as possible. And that's when she launched a company called Grocery Shop for Free at the Mart, which was, GroceryShopForFree.com. That was a site that was really kind of dedicated to helping people, but particularly women, housewives, learn how to control their food budget just by learning, different couponing skills and different other skills that you need to have at the grocery store in order to maximize your savings and put food on the table for cheap. And so that's kind of where this whole online business thing started for us. It became pretty successful. She enjoyed it. Wonderful. And so I quickly launched Grocery Shop for Free at the Mart. Not quickly, a couple years later. Grocery Shop for Free at the Mart, which was a site that basically did the same thing, but it focused on Walmart because that's where I did my shopping.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that people at Walmart, it still is the biggest grocery store in the United States. And so if you can learn how to shop specifically at Walmart, you can really, save quite a bit of money on your groceries because Walmart, not only will they take coupons and do different things like that, but they also do price matching. Well, they'll match the other ads, in your local area. And they have a bunch of other little tools like that will, help you save money. So I was really impressed with Walmart. And so that's where that started. But over time, the focus was so much on eating as cheaply as possible and putting as food, because we had so many people in our house, getting as cheap as possible food on the table, that we both started realizing that we were really packing on the pounds.
Like processed foods and things like that you get
processed foods, grains, sugars. Basically, anything that shows up basically in the middle, those middle aisles in the grocery store, essentially will make you fat. There's a few.
Right.
If you shop in those middle aisles, they'll make you fat. But we didn't really understand the role of diet in weight loss at the time. So what kind of the inciting incident was my wife, the dog, she opened the door and the dog, ran out between her legs and to get outside and to go, chase a squirrel or whatever it is dogs do. But in the process of her trying to kind of catch the dog with her feet to pull him back in, she ruptured her Achilles tendon.
Oh.
Yeah. So she had to go to the doctor to get it dealt with. And the doctor said, well, we can't do anything for you right now because you are diabetic. Well, she didn't know she was diabetic at the time. So she had type 2 diabetes. Yeah. And so that was really kind of the first time that we said, we're in trouble. And so she she just laid in bed. Because she couldn't move, and just by laying in bed and controlling what she ate and how she ate, she managed to lose like right at 100 pounds.
Now that's unbelievable, right?
Yeah, it was like 6 to 9 months of recuperation.
Wow.
Yeah. So she lost
just by eating correctly.
Yeah, just by eating correctly, and then I, once I kind of saw what she was doing, I was determined not to just kind of copy what she did, but I was really determined to find out what was doing this. Like, what was the metabolic processes behind why she was able to lose weight so quick. Because it was jaw dropping to me. And at the time I was 400 pounds. So I was 400 pounds. I had, blood pressure that was through the roof. It sat on a normal day at 200 over 160.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it was pretty bad. And on multiple occasions, it came up as like 236 over 180 at one point. And my blood pressure was crazy. My weight was crazy. We knew we needed to change. And so I was really determined to find out, because I tried so many other diets, eat less and exercise. And I was a pretty avid exerciser. Even at 400 pounds, I loved to swim. I joined a gym. I was going 3 times a week. The weight wasn't moving though. And I was frustrated by that. And I was frustrated by the fact that it really became apparent that I didn't know what it took to lose weight. I didn't understand, what it is that you had to do in order to shed a few pounds. And over the years now, what I found out is that very few people really do. Because really the idea that people have in their heads is that if you want to lose weight, really the only option is some variation of eat less and exercise more. Yeah. It's, restrict your calories, go for a walk, and then the weight will fall off. Well, there's a ton of science. I won't get into all the different studies. There's a ton of science out there that shows us that eating less and exercising more doesn't work. It works for a very short term. Like you can restrict your calories, and for a month, you'll lose, say, 20 pounds, in a month, which, that's awesome. But what happens is your body quickly gets used to the restriction on calories, and it begins to take steps in order to put that weight back on, because it doesn't like the fact that you've costed energy. I mean, that's what you do when you're dieting, is you're costing your body energy, and it doesn't necessarily want to give that up without a fight. And so that's where yo-yo dieting happens.
Yeah, I was about to say that's where people lose it.
That is exactly what's going on. And that's something that your body is designed to do. If you take off a certain amount of weight, your body is designed to put that weight back on. And the way that it'll do it is if you restrict your calories after a month, your body will begin to let less energy available for the things that you want to do. You won't have as much energy to move. You won't want to exercise. It will make less energy available for cognition. You'll have cloudy thoughts, cloudy head, feel like your head's full of cotton. It'll make less energy available for heat. You'll have cold hands, cold feet. There's other things that your body will do, but your body will try to enter into a state of homeostasis where the energy that you put out is equal to the energy that you put in, plus a little bit extra, because your body really likes that extra fat. It likes, evolutionarily, we were designed to have extra fat because extra fat meant that you could survive the winter, right, and you could, make it to the next harvest system. Yeah, it was padding. And so you've really kind of got to fight against some of these biological processes. So when I started doing the study to try to figure out what it was that was going on, very quickly it became very apparent. And I can't even tell you, I've read probably 100 books, and I've listened to maybe 1,000 podcasts, and read, medical journals, and because I was really, really interested in what happens is what goes on. So here's the crux of it. Here's what I found out. And here's what, if everyone can just really kind of get a hold of this one little nugget of truth.
Okay, ladies.
Yeah. This is it.
This is your nugget.
So insulin is your body's fat storage hormone. So if you want to stop storing fat and start shedding fat, all you have to do is eat foods that do not cause an insulin reaction. The higher your insulin levels go up, the more your body packs on pounds. And that's what insulin's job is. So if your body considers blood sugar almost like a toxin. So you have a certain amount of blood sugar that's kind of naturally in your blood, but really it's about a teaspoon worth of sugar is all that's in your entire bloodstream. So if you eat something that causes that blood sugar level to go up, your body doesn't like that, because your body knows that high levels of blood sugar cause all kinds of problems. It causes kidney disease. It causes cardiovascular disease. It causes a bunch of different, when anyone who's been a diabetic for a long term, that their bodies just begin to decay and break down over time. They have to maybe amputate limbs. Yes. It's really a bad scene. And the reason why it's so bad is those blood sugar levels are so high for so often. So your body doesn't like high blood sugar. So what it does is, as soon as you eat something that causes your blood sugar to go up, insulin is secreted, and insulin either takes that glucose, which is the blood sugar, and takes it to all of the different muscles and cells in your body and says, hey, you need some energy? Here, use this first, because we've got to get this sugar out of the bloodstream. And then, so it uses as much as it can for fuel. But if you eat too much that your body can use for fuel right then, the only other option, because it cannot stay in the bloodstream, the only other option is for that insulin to start packing that sugar away into individual fat cells so that it can get it out of the bloodstream. And so that's what happens when you eat foods that cause an insulin reaction. You are packing that sugar away into fat cells, and that's why we're gaining weight. So the average American gains 3 to 6 pounds every year. Yes. So you were probably at a healthy weight when you were 20. But then when you turned 30, you had 30 extra pounds to lose, and you weren't sure where it came from. And then when you turned 40, you might have had 50, 60, 70 extra pounds to lose, and you really weren't sure where that came from. Well, it came on gradually over time. You were gaining a pound every 3 or 4 months without you really noticing it, and then it stacked up over time. And if you can imagine, kind of a normal American diet is you get up in the morning and you have breakfast and it's carbs. You have toast or oatmeal. Mm-hmm. You go have lunch and it's carbs. You have maybe a sandwich or chips. And then you have this mid-afternoon snack because your blood sugar has crashed, and it's chips or a candy bar or something. And then you go home and you have dessert, and there's carbs or go home and have dinner, and there's carbs for dinner. And it's a baked potato or it's rice or something like that. And then, you're feeling a little peckish right before you go to bed. You have a dessert. It's a sugary dessert that raises. So every 3 hours, you've caused an insulin spike. And so every 3 hours, your body has packed that sugar away for fuel. And because you've kept your insulin levels elevated the whole day, you've never really given your body a chance to reverse the process and to start pulling fat out of your fat cells and use that for fuel instead.
Interesting.
Because that's what your body would prefer to do. Your body would prefer to run off of the stored fat because that's actually a better energy source for it, but it can't if your insulin levels are high, because when your insulin levels are high, it has to use the sugar first. So this is really the secret to weight loss. If you keep your insulin levels suppressed throughout the day by not eating foods that cause an insulin reaction, you can give your body the opportunity, the much needed opportunity, to start pulling fat out of fat cells and use that for fuel during the day instead of the sugar. And so I put this in place probably a year and a half ago. I really, really, decided to make a concerted effort to not eat sugars and grains. And so far, I've lost over 155 pounds. I will be at 160 pounds probably by the end of the month. And I have a picture here. I was going to hold it up to
good. Yeah.
I was going to show. Let me see if I can find it.
So just by cutting out carbs and sugars.
Yes. So anything that causes an insulin reaction, shoot, there it is. Anything that causes an insulin reaction, let me see, that's me and
wow.
That's about 250 pounds ago between the two of us.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we are, we're kind of living this life, and while she's at a healthy weight, I am, I've still got about another 50 pounds or more, maybe. Whoops. And so I thought that was me. And it's a slow and steady process. So if you'll begin to eat like that, you can really begin to expect to see a weight loss of, 2 to 4 pounds a week is about normal. And so you do that long enough, and you are reversing that 3 to 6 pounds a year that you've put on over time. And it's very simple, and you don't have to starve yourself, which is fantastic. In fact, I don't know how long this video needs to be, because I've got a lot of information.
We usually go about 20 minutes.
Okay, 20 minutes is fine. Okay.
I have a question real quick about the sugar, which I think a lot of people might have too. What about the Splendas and the, those substitutes or raw sugar?
Sure. So the number one key when you're looking at these sugar substitutes are, will it cause an insulin reaction? So a lot of the things that we think of as natural sugars or sugars that are good for us are actually bad for us because they cause an insulin reaction. So your body doesn't know the difference between a molecule of glucose or a molecule of fructose that comes from a natural energy source like honey or agave, from a molecule of glucose and fructose that comes from just table sugar. It's just glucose and fructose to your liver. So these natural sugars that people think of as healthy, like honey, agave, they might be a smidge better for you than, say, table sugar, but they will just as strongly as table sugar impede your weight loss efforts. As far as sugar substitutes go, the jury is really out on sugar substitutes. What we've seen is that people that make the switch over to diet drinks don't lose weight at an appreciably faster rate than someone who just cuts sugar out totally. In fact, they might lose weight a little bit slower. So what I usually tell people is, if you need to use Splenda, or if you need to use a sugar substitute to kind of get through because I'll be honest with you, the first month is a little rough because you have sugar cravings. But if you have to use a sugar substitute to kind of get you through that initial period, go for it. I mean, if that's what needs to happen, that's what needs to happen, because sugar is the main villain here. If we can get that out of your diet, that's fine. But you probably want, in order to maximize your health, you probably want to, over time, start decreasing the amount of sugar substitutes that you eat. And this becomes a lot easier after the first month or two of cutting out sugar, because once you get over, and I'll be honest with you, there's a time period, and it usually lasts 3 or 4 days, when you are basically a heroin addict that is going through withdrawal. That's how badly most of us are addicted to sugar. It's really difficult. That's why the first thing I tell people when they want to do this is to go through the house and throw away all sugar. Just get rid of it, because you will cheat if it's within easy grabbing distance.
Definitely,
because you're craving, you're drug seeking basically. And but once you get through that time period, and it comes and goes, 3 or 4 days, it's not that bad. Stay hydrated through that. But once you get through that, your taste for sugar will diminish, and you won't have to put as many of the sweeteners in your drinks and everything, because you just won't have that strong a taste for it. And so as you just start decreasing it step by step, you can very easily get to the point where a sugar substitute is a special thing. Like you put it and make a special dessert out of it. Or maybe you put just a little bit in your tea at night. You can very quickly get to that, but you can't. I would never tell someone, hey, cut out the sugars and cut out the carbs and cut out the sugar substitutes, because their head will explode. It's just too much. It's just too big of a change to do right then. But once you get to the other side of it and you start tapering it down, then you're going to see some other great health benefits. And that's why it's so important, I think, to make the distinction. This is a distinction that took a long time for me to kind of make in my own head. Is we're so focused on, we got to lose weight, we got to lose weight, we got to lose weight. Really, you don't want to think like that. What you really want to think is, I got to get healthy, I got to get healthy, I got to get healthy.
Right.
And of which weight loss is just one component of that weight loss. That's why sugar is the main culprit here. But really, if you want to continue to get healthy, you also want to cut out grains. So grains are a natural inflammatory agent. If you've got joint pain, if you've got anything that would be caused by inflammation, if you've got I can't even think, but Alzheimer's is the next one that I'll go to, but that's another subject. But a lot of these issues, a lot of these chronic issues that people struggle with over time, so not something that's caused by a bacteria or virus, but something that kind of sneaks up on us in old age. So it's type 2 diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, the arthritis, joint pain. So all of these things that seem to creep up on us over time, a lot of those things are caused not by age, but by the breakdown in our bodies, because we've spent so long with high levels of blood sugar. And so if you can start decreasing those things in your diet, you're going to be much more apt to have to struggle with those diseases as you age. In fact, I can recommend a book on Alzheimer's specifically, because we're always concerned about the way that our brains age. So there's a book called Grain Brain by Dr. David Perlmutter, and he focuses on the effects of grains on the brain, specifically when it comes to Alzheimer's and different neurological diseases. And it's a fascinating book, but really the main point of the book, if you want to protect your brain, you cut out the carbs, cut out the grains specifically. So wheat, barley, rice, corn, those kind of grains, they all do different types of damage to the human body. But taken as a whole, if you can eliminate those things from your diet, you're going to lose weight and you're going to see fantastic long-term health benefits.
Wow. Now, so this is everything you talk about on your website, mysugarfreejourney.com?
Yeah, so mysugarfreejourney.com started as a place for me to kind of, it really started as a place for me to kind of gather all of the information that I was beginning to learn and just kind of put it on one place so that I could read it. And what's happened now over the years is that we've kind of developed a little bit of a following, and people are are interested in someone who used to be 400 pounds and used to have
definitely
pressure, and what he's done to kind of recapture his health. So I have a couple resources on the site that are very, very popular. Number one, Weight Loss Wednesday. I check in. I do a video every Wednesday. I talk about how the week is gone, and that's very popular. I try to put, because I'm a couponer, I try to put all of the coupons for real food and things that you can eat in one place. So that usually happens about every other Thursday. A bunch of I do recipes usually on Monday or Tuesday. I have a podcast that goes out on Friday.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so the podcast is really interesting too, because I talk to other people who know different aspects of health and how you can really kind of maximize your health.
What's the name of your podcast?
It's the My Sugar Free Journey podcast. So it's
great. So, and to find all of this information, you can go to mysugarfreejourney.com.
It's all right there, and you should be able to find everything that you need from the front page.
And there's also a coupon site that you have for ladies out there who definitely need to, and I know we're talking really healthy, but we still know that there's a lot of families out there that need to shop at Walmart, need to get the macaroni and cheese in the box, and we understand that. But so he has a website for you that you can actually save money and do some shopping and get more stuff for your family. The website is grocery shop free at themart.com.
Yeah, grocery shop for free.
Oh.
Grocery shop for free at the Mart.
Or you can grocery shop for free at themart.com.
Yeah, that's it. Or you can just go to my wife's site, which is groceryshopforfree.com. It's a shorter URL. It's easy to remember, and you can find me from there. But the Grocery Shop for Free site is for just saving money in general, and then Grocery Shop for Free at the Mart is specifically for Walmart.
Yep, so there you go. And we'll put the links down here as well. To connect with Aarn Farmer, just go to his website. Yep. He's got a lot of great information. He has videos and research that he's done, and I'm so proud of you for not only saving your health and your family's health, but now you're helping others. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
And so I appreciate your service. I think you said earlier you were a pastor.
I was for 25 years. I was a youth pastor and a senior pastor. We don't do that anymore, but for a big chunk of my life was spent in the ministry.
Oh, that is fantastic. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And thank you for being on WBTVN. And this was the Expert Spotlight Show with Aarn Farmer of mysugarfreejourney.com. Thank you, Aarn.
Thank you. I appreciated being on.